That's supposed to be our bell. We've got a mini bell. I think it shrunk. They washed it in hot water. So we'll find our bigger bell. But if you'll stand with me, welcome to the Thursday, January 7th, 2021 meeting of your Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club, now entering our 84th year of service to this community. Our invocation day will be led by Reverend Bill Abar, our pledge by Allsup, our song by Neil and Sandra. Lazaro will lead us in introducing our visiting Rotarians and guests. So, Bill?
Before the election, I had a conversation with Don George where I suggested to him that the country would need a lot of prayer after that. He agreed with me. He did not agree with me on how the election was going to turn out, but he agreed that prayer is what we need. And after what happened yesterday, we've got to fall back on a higher power and a sense of civility and community. Join me in a spirit of prayer. Eternal God, we come before you this day humbled at what has happened in our country. That's not who we are, oh God, and we need to be better than that, and we ask your help for that. But we also come with prayers of thanksgiving for this club, for its work in our community, for the four-way test of the ethics that we hold dear of what we think, say, and do. We ask your spirit to be upon us, to bless this club as we go about our work this next year, to bless this food before it, the hands that prepared it, and to keep us this day in your peace. In the name of the Christ we pray. Amen.
General Zapata, you want to lead us in our pledge, sir?
Ready. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
God bless America.
Thank you, y'all. You sound good. Thank you. All right, Lazaro. Welcome. We got any visiting Rotarians?
Yes, we do, Mr. President. We would like to welcome Ryan Maney. He's right there in the back. He's a prospective member. Welcome.
Ryan, welcome.
We also have Mark Siski with the Singly Academy Interact, but also he's a new city council here in Irving. So welcome as well.
Mark, glad you're here.
Do we have anybody online that would miss?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, welcome everybody.
Yeah, let's give them all a warm welcome. Thank you. Ryan's going to be back again next week if he's able. We're going to get him a prospective member package. So, Ryan, I was going to talk about membership, and you came on to the right day. Thank you. Well, we have a couple of things before we get into our program today. Val, where are you at? Val had asked if she could say a word, so.
I just wanted everyone to know that my mom passed away December 22nd in Pennsylvania. And I traveled back there, and there was a lot of hustle and bustle and with the wake and funeral and all of that. But I did have some time to sit in her favorite chair in the sitting area of her bedroom. And when I looked up, I saw her armoire where she keeps all of her, very things close to her heart. That's actually where we found her missing wedding rings. And on the door of the armoire was the Rotary Las Colinas flag that we had given them, my parents, when they visited in August of 2019. And I can't help but wonder what she felt when she looked at that. Maybe pride, maybe connection. And I just wanted to thank all of you for the warm welcome that you had given to my parents. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Just small acts of kindness make a difference in people's lives. So thank you to all that. We have some Rotary attendance awards. Where's Bobby? Standing in the wings right here. Not sure if we have all of these people here. Can you give me the full screen so I can see who's online there, Jordan? I believe that Patty Caperton is online. Patty, what do we have for her?
Patty has a 4-year attendance award.
Patty, we thank you for your attendance and participation for longer than 4 years, but we appreciate the last 4 years. So we'll have this for you and we'll get it delivered to you. We'll see if Amazon can drop it off this afternoon or something. All right. Is Rick Lindsay on there? Rick is on there. Rick has 2 years that he's been a busy 2 years since he's been back in Rotary. So we appreciate Rick. We have your pen here. I'll get that dropped off to you.
Okay.
There he is. All right, turn his mic on. What's he saying there?
I was just saying, thank you, sir. It's been
Hold
a
on
fun
just a
2
minute.
years
We're trying to
serving
get-
underneath your leadership.
Hold on. One more minute. All right, we're having to, they got the cord there. All right, now you're connected, Rick.
I was just going to say, thank you, sir. It's been a fun 2 years under your leadership.
Fun 2 years.
That's great.
We're glad you're there. Patty, since you're now connected as well, we thank you for your participation in Rotary. You have a comment you want to make? Unmute yourself.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And you're right. It's more than 4, but that was like years ago. I had perfect attendance for 20 years or so. I don't know, something like that.
Since before I've been here, so yes,
Yeah.
we value all of those years. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Who else we got here? Chris Dobson just jumped on. Chris has 6 years. Chris, if you want to give us a little photo op, we can say thank you, or you can acknowledge, but we say thanks to Chris. Now, she spent much of that 6 years helping me with programs, so I'm especially grateful for her time of service. And what else do we have?
Fun.
Clint Howard. We'll give this to Kathy today, but 2 years of, or the last 2 years has perfect attendance or meeting our attendance requirements. So Clint, we thank you for that. So we'll get this to Kathy. And what else
Linda.
And Linda Despain is in the house. Linda, come on up. You get a 2-year pin. So it's been a busy 2 years for you as well. Secretary, President-elect. It's 155 days to July 1st, just in case you're not counting, all right? Okay. One of us is, all right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. We'll get a picture at the end of the meeting, so stick around for a few minutes, all right? All right, well, that takes care of our attendance award. We did have a Paul Harris award to do, but we'll do that when the person's present. Lazaro, did you want to make a quick announcement regarding the turkey trot in November and our upcoming event in February?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Bobby.
Well, my name is Lázaro Alvarez. For those of you guys that might not know me, I'm the race director with the Irving Marathon running series here at Toyota Music Factory. And we this year, as you guys know, events organizing has kind of been not allowed because of the restrictions. So it's kind of tough to start a running series here in Irving in the middle of that. But we were successfully able to complete 7 of the 7 running events that we had scheduled. including the Irving turkey trot that we just had this past Thanksgiving. We were one of the only ones in pretty much the country that had one, and we never had one before. And we had about 1,000 people signed up for the event between virtual and in person. We've been able to work with the city and an agreement, and they've given us a mandate to operate as long as hospitalizations are contained and whatnot. That allows us to organize these events. So great things coming. We have another event that is coming up February 13th. It's called Love on the Run. We have a St. Patrick's event coming up as well, March 13th. And the Irving Marathon, which is scheduled for March 27th, is a Boston Marathon qualifier. We just hit 600 people already registered for that event. So as one of the first events coming up in pretty much a nation, we're expecting to be a big one. And we're going to work with whatever quantity, maximum quantity the city allows us to have. So we're very excited about that. But a lot of great things coming here in the future. I want to thank Jordan as well. Jordan actually helps us with our community relations and has been a key role on developing the relationships that we have now with the community that allows us to operate how we do. So thank you guys for all the continued support. We've made it through COVID, and now we're excited to see what we can actually do that we're still here around to go forward. So thank you.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Well, Lazaro, we are excited to have the Irving Marathon running series in our community. Grateful to have you as part of our Rotary Club. Lazaro helps us in a lot of capacities, but he's on that path to be president-elect and president in the next couple of years. So we're grateful for his service to our club. Well, a few months ago, we were looking at planning the schedule for the new year. And since I hadn't spoke to you since June, and I thought, well, I'll take the first meeting of the year so I could kind of give you an update on the club. So for those of you that were coming to hear Chuck Cooperstein, he's actually at the Downtown Dallas Club. Sorry you missed that today, but you get me instead. So let me just give you an update. I just prepared a couple of remarks. I will definitely let you out early, but as I was thinking in light of the election and the inauguration will take place in a couple of weeks, many presidents are judged by what they're able to accomplish in their first 100 days in office. And for my sake, I'm hoping that's not the case, because it's been 555 days since you allowed me to step in as president of the Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club in July of 2019. A vibrant club with an 83-year history in this community. February of this year will be our 84th year. What an incredible 555 days it's been. I'm so grateful for those who faithfully served with me during this time, specifically past President Rick Lindsay, past club secretary and current president-elect Linda Despain, club secretary Bobby Haas, and our amazing club treasurer, David Harris, who just gave me a financial report, and we still have money in the bank. So, yes, I could ring the bell, meeting adjourned, and you would have gotten what you came to hear. But we have others that have served us in other capacities, our numerous avenues of service chairs, our program committee members, our bulletin and social media coordinators. We won an award this past year for our digital media that Jordan has helped us do, and much of what's happened since March of 2019 is a direct reflection on his talents and abilities and willingness to help our club, not just with these meetings that you see here during the week, but our Twitter account, our Facebook, not our Facebook page, no, our Facebook page, not our club website, but what else do we do? LinkedIn, YouTube. So if you're not a subscriber or a follower, or if you haven't liked those things, you need to do that. There is multiple communications that go out every week. I opened one today that was about Rotary and January's vocational month, and it gives you a chance to like that and forward it. So I just forwarded it to the people that I'm connected with. It helps communicate the mission and the vision of Rotary to people that may not be exposed to it. And part of our objective as Rotarians is to get the word out. And something as simple as sharing a 10-second clip that he's prepared that somebody can just click on, listen in 10 seconds, be able to get an overview of the objective Rotary. Simple to do, but can go out to over 1,000 people with just one click. So I thank you for that. And to each of you, I say, again, a very heartfelt thank you. This is just the third time I've stood before you to report or communicate our club's goals or objectives. But I will say this is one of the most important moments. 555 days ago, I communicated 4 pages of goals and objectives we hope to achieve during the 2019-2020 Rotary year. Some of you got a copy of these 4 pages. We had 7 primary goals, but I outlined what we were ambitiously attempting to do, really on the heels of Rick Lindsay's incredible year. But I'm forever grateful that you've either forgotten that speech or shown an incredible amount of tolerance for my failure to achieve the presidential citation last year, or only partially achieved 2 of our 7 goals. Now, I can make excuses for that, but I'm not one to make excuses. I'm just trying to relate that we have work to do, all right? Last year on July 9th, our club emerged from an unprecedented 120-day online meeting format. Some of you will remember the first couple of weeks of that. You were clicking different links to take you to a pledge and a prayer and to a virtual meeting that we put together. And it wasn't until our first meeting in April that we got Zoom together where we were able to begin to Zoom. But I communicated to you last July 9th that I hope that we could still achieve these 7 goals before July 1st of 2021. And while we made some strong progress in our regular meetings, as a club, we've struggled to gain new members. We have struggled to retain current members, and we have struggled to engage our regular members. Now, that's not meant to be a negative. I'm just trying to tell you what you already know. You don't have to look around this room or look on the computer screen there to realize that this is not the same club that we all participated in prior to March of 2019. So we've made some progress on our 5-year succession plan. One of the objectives that I gave you when I stepped into this position in July of 2019 was that I was working to get people into all the key positions in Rotary for 5 years in advance. So they originally started with 2019, 2020. It currently goes through 2023, 24. You can't see this from where you're at, but I will tell you that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places where the person who was in that position 9 months ago is no longer in that position today. They've either left the club or they just aren't able to fulfill that. There's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 where I had somebody in that spot. They've moved to a different spot. And so on my sheet, it says need chairperson, need director, need director. So, and some of those are for this current 2020, 2021 year. We do not have a president-elect nominee. We do not have a membership director. We do not have a vocational services director, and I'm needing a program chairperson. So if any of those sound like something that you're interested in doing, and I'm talking to this room, but each of you that are online are seeing me, I'm giving you an opportunity if you want to step into some of those capacities. But I will tell you that probably 85% of what we need as a club to operate, most importantly, our club presidents, our club president-elect, and our club's treasurer are all in place for the next 4 years. At this moment, maybe I should qualify that, all right? Subject to change. Where am I on my notes here? Said we made some progress on our 5-year plan. We have several key members relocate or leave our club. I'm still working to fill those vacancies, which include, as I said, a program chairperson, a membership chairperson, a vocational service chair, and a president-elect nominee for 2021, 2022. When we returned from our COVID shutdown, I solicited your input on 10 questions to map out the future of our club. Now, everybody in the club got this email. Some of you remember sending it, but this went to all 67 members of our club. 27 members returned this. The other 40, I know who you are. I just haven't said anything to you yet. So, but I asked you questions like, what changes should our club prepare for as we return to our normal weekly meetings? Now, that was one that I got a lot of input on. In the wake of COVID-19, in preparation for future global health issues, should our club adopt a virtual member classification? Well, we haven't done that. Even though we have members meeting virtually, we don't have a virtual member classification. Should we continue to meet on a weekly basis? Or should we do one or more service projects a month in lieu of a meeting? So I'm going to resend this questionnaire out. I think all 10 questions are still relative. But as a club, as we're trying to finish this Rotary year and help Linda prepare for her Rotary year, your input's going to be helpful in that. As a club, we desire to continue to be vital to our members, relevant to our community, and leaders to our fellow clubs in District 5810. We regularly get input or inquiries from other members of our club. Part of this is the benefit of having our past club president and longtime club member, Max Duplant, to be the district governor-elect. She's got her pulse on what's going on here in Irving, Las Colinas, and she helps communicate that to other clubs. But as a result, those clubs inquire with us, or more specifically, they inquire with Jordan, how we're doing the virtual part of our meetings and how we're getting those loaded on YouTube, how we're getting that information formatted so that it could go out socially to so many of our members. As I look to the final 155 days of my leadership of this club, before handing the baton to the most capable Linda Despain and her board in July of 2021. Now, Linda, you might not have known it was 155 days, but I know there's 155 days left. But I'd ask you to consider really three things. These are three things that will help me grow this club in the next 6 months. And it's three things that will help Linda as she steps in the first meeting in July of this year. So the first thing I would like to ask you to do is to engage. Now, it would be very easy to use the phrase I'm preaching to the choir because I'm speaking to people that are present or people that are watching online. You are engaging. But we record these and we put this information out, so there are some that watch these meetings during the week that maybe didn't attend. But I will say staying engaged with Rotary is the greatest way each of you can help this club reach its 85th year of service, which will be February of 2022. Whether it's in person, whether it's online through Zoom, or whether it's virtually by watching the meetings on Facebook, YouTube, or our club's website, I'm asking everybody to stay engaged every week. If you can't attend, you should be here on Zoom. If you're not on Zoom, I'd like to ask you to watch so that you know what's going on. It doesn't take too long, and pastors can tell you if you stop going to church for a little while before you know it, it's like, where did they go? Okay, all right. I got a second from the two pastors in the community. So we need to keep our members engaged every week. The second thing I'd like to ask you to do is to influence. Now, one of the reasons why many of us are in Rotary is that Rotary has influence in the community. And we also enjoy being around individuals that are civic-minded, committed to help our community grow. But we need to use that influence within Rotary to connect with our other members who've not been with us over the past few months. Now, I'm not going to read a list of the names of 31 people who haven't attended, haven't been on Zoom, haven't watched virtually. 31 of our members disappeared since March of 2020. Now, in all fairness, some of those individuals are sick, okay? Don Oberlin's in hospice. I don't know, just Don might be able to watch our meeting virtually, but there's others of them, they've just got busy with other things. I talked to one of them recently. He said, I didn't even know the club was still meeting. So I need your help to help influence those individuals by phone, by email, sending a card. One of the things I've committed to do is I'm going to send cards out every week. Now, I'm not going to send 62 cards out every week, but I'm going to send about 3 to 5 cards out every week to both current members that are attending and engaged and members that are not attending and engaged. You can help me do the same thing. You might not send 3 to 5 out, but you can send 1 or 2 out. Or you can send an email, or you can send a text message, or you can make a phone call. But we have the ability to just say, hey, we've missed you. It's a new year. Okay. Sometimes when people have been gone a long time, then they feel uncomfortable coming back because it's like, well, what are people going to think? Well, it's a new year. Okay. Just come back. And if you're watching this in 3 weeks, we miss you. Join online, come in person. You're still a Rotarian. If we're going to grow our club from our present 52 members, and we had 62 members in July of 2019 when I stepped in, so that's why I'm saying I'm hoping you guys have a short memory there. My goal was to raise the club from 62 to 80. In reality, we subtracted 10. We went from 62 to 52. We need your help to retain our current members and to grow our membership. So the final thing that I'm going to ask you to do is to encourage. And I kind of threw this one in. I was trying to look for things, engage, influence. But after some of the things that happened yesterday, I thought I'd use the word encourage. Because, you know, as Rotarians, our community looks for us for perspective. They look to us for a hope for a brighter tomorrow. The reality is that COVID has been difficult. And even if we've gotten through COVID and you haven't gotten sick and you still have a job, and we know other people. I got a text this morning from one of the elders at our church that got diagnosed with COVID today. So it's been difficult. We know people who've died of COVID, lost jobs. Some have lost their homes. So it's been difficult. Our country's divided. And we didn't have to watch the events of yesterday to know that our country is divided. Our political leadership is challenging. But as Rotarians, that doesn't mean we have to succumb to the negative. Rather, on the contrary, we have to rise above it. I found this quote as I was trying to find some of Paul Harris's quotes, and this one just jumped out at me. He said this: as Rotarians, it's not our objective to fix blame, rather to incite hope. So as Rotarians, we don't get the opportunity or the privilege to point a finger and to criticize. We get an opportunity to incite hope. And when Paul Harris said that in 1918, I would say that our country was going through some of the similar difficulties with the Spanish flu and some of the political events that were going on and the end of World War I. So you can't say that he said that in the good old days, all right? The reality is he made that comment in a similar situation to what we face right now. And that is that as Rotarians, it's not our objective. It's not that we can't. It's not our objective to affix blame. Rather, on the contrary, it's to incite hope. So I need you. I need us as a club to influence our club, our community, and our future leaders in a way that only Rotary can. In Rotary, we have members with different religious beliefs. We have some difficult members, but I'm not going to talk about that. We have members with different political affiliations. We have members with diverse economics means. We have members in various stages of life. But we find a way to work together for the common good of Rotary in our community. You know, one of the things I was thinking about driving up, I didn't put it in my notes, but it was just, is the fact that Rotary started 115 years ago with a classification system. And the classification system, which doesn't really exist today, but many of you remember that, is they did not want Rotary to be an organization that had all attorneys or all doctors or all ministers or all, help me, accountants. Thank you, David. The classification system ensured that when you came to Rotary every week, you could have a banker that could be talking to a construction superintendent, that could be sitting next to a business person, that could be sitting next to a school superintendent, that could have a conversation with a city council member. And the classification system was to ensure our differences. And I think that's one of the unique things that makes Rotary what we are, is that we embrace the fact that we come from different backgrounds, we have different vocations, we even have sometimes different beliefs, but we work together to impact our community in a way that only Rotary can. You know, I started a journal through COVID where I didn't really journal my thoughts, but I kept record of really good quotes that I heard. And one of these, and I think the pastors in the room will say amen to this, it just said this: a fearful world needs a courageous church. And while I agree with that, I would just tell you this: a divided world needs a united Rotary. We can be that instrument that helps bring civility back to our country. So as we begin 2021, our 84th year of service to the Irving community, as we hopefully emerge from the COVID pandemic, and none of us know exactly what emerge means or when that might occur. To me, it's when I don't have to wear a mask to go in someplace anymore. As we look to the opportunities that always exist in the middle of any challenge or hardship, I ask each of us, those of you present in this room, those of you watching through Zoom, those of you that may be watching or listen to this meeting weeks or months from now, I ask you to stay engaged with Rotary. Or if you've not been able to re-engage with Rotary. I ask you to influence others in our club and in our community in such a way that the Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club is an indispensable tapestry of our mosaic community. You know, it would be a shame at some point if Rotary didn't survive and the community didn't even know we were gone. There's some businesses that have closed. There's some churches that have closed. And maybe those people that own those businesses or attended those churches, but you know, if the community as a whole doesn't know, that becomes challenging. And I want us to be such an indispensable part of this community that the community needs us to continue. And finally, I'm going to ask you to encourage, as a club and as individuals who are members of Rotary, let's encourage others, not with blind optimism, but really with an undeterred resolve that we will be part of a better tomorrow. We will face hardships, we will endure difficulties, we'll stand up to social unrest, and collectively as members of the Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club, we'll work together to shape a better future for the next generation. And Mark, I'm glad you're here today because you're helping us shape that next generation of future leaders through the Interact Club there at Singley. So thank you. Will you help me to engage? Will you help me to influence? Will you help me to encourage our community, our children, and our fellow Rotarians so that we can, and I believe we will, make a difference, and not just for the next 155 days, but really for the next 84 years that this club is in this community. We may be gone, but this club has the ability to have an impact far after we're gone. But we got to do something. We got to lay a foundation. We've got to build so that when Linda steps in 2021 and our other presidents step in after her, we're making their job easier. I will tell you, being president of this Rotary Club is a lot harder than running my business. So maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't want Linda. Okay. Uh, But it's actually one of the most rewarding things that I've done. And again, this is my third year as president, my second term as president of this club. I was president in 2001, 2002. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. I really want to express my gratitude to each of you individually, each of you that are watching online. But we have work to do. And I don't know whether it's going to get better or get worse, but what I do know is that I'm going to do my best for the next 155 days to grow this club, to impact our community, and to do so in a way that helps make the Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club the premier service organization in our community. And to do that, I need each of your help. So I thank you for that. Thank you for listening. If you tuned out and went over to see Chuck Cooperstein, that's all right. You can watch this later. But I'm going to, I don't even know how much time I have left. I have 9 minutes left. So I'm not going to take 9 minutes, but we are going to close in a minute with the four-way test. But before we do that, any questions from the room? Jordan, we have any comments or questions online? Otherwise, I've updated what I needed to do. Anybody? I asked her to do that before the meeting, just so y'all knew. Okay. Thank you, Linda. She's been a great secretary and a great president-elect. Yes, sir. You may say something. Yes. You want to come to the microphone? Okay.
So one of the visions that I have for public image, not just for this club, but for all the other clubs, is that we need to tell the Rotary story. And as a club, we have a Rotary Club story here for this club. And there's a specific message, and that message is what's going to get people to come in. But each one of you has a Rotary story as well. And part of what I would want to do is I want to know your Rotary story. And I want to capture it in a video, and I want to tell your Rotary story on our social media. So if you haven't seen it, we're doing meet and greets where you get to meet our Rotarians. If you haven't done one, then you need to reach out to me because we need to do those. They're less than 10 seconds, and we're going to put that out there so everybody who's not here can get to meet you. But you have a story, and we need to tell that story so others can come in and make their own story, okay? Thank you.
So we want to know your Rotary story. We just want to know 10 seconds of your Rotary story. No, Jordan actually will edit that down, but, and he's, some of you, you've seen him with them after Rotary, just using a cell phone to capture a little comment about why they came to Rotary, why they're involved in Rotary, how long they've been in Rotary, what's most important to them about Rotary. But it's that thing, that one thing that keeps you engaged, and he wants to capture that and edit it down. He'll put it with some real nice graphics, and then it can go out through our LinkedIn, through our YouTube and other channels so that people can have an opportunity to hear you talk about what's important with Rotary. So you have a few minutes after Rotary Day if they want to do that. Okay, so if you want to do that after Rotary, you can. Okay, Richard has a question, and then Bob has one too. Let me do Richard. Oh, okay, you were just telling me Bob does. All right, so is Bob hooked up? Hold on. Give me just a second, Bob. We're going to get you connected. All right, Bob, you're on. Unmute yourself. Now you're good.
Are you talking to me?
That's what they said. You had a question.
No, I do not have a question.
Okay. All right. They thought you were waving. Maybe you were scratching your head or something. Okay. If you were going to ask me to repeat the last 15 minutes, I was going to say next question. But anybody online have a question? We're looking. Thanks to each of you for staying engaged with us there. Thanks to each of you here. Let me just, I would be amiss if I didn't put one last plea in for the fact I need a program service chair. We have a program committee that's made up of 6 or 7 people. I need somebody that's willing to chair that. And by chair, it just means maybe you're assigning somebody to get programs for that month, and then you're making sure that we get picture, a bio, and that program is going to show up when they're supposed to come. And then I'm needing a vocational service chair and somebody to help us with membership. So if you're interested in any of those things, you can come see me, or you can send me a text or email. Would love to speak with you about that. Or even if you can't do it now, but you'd be interested in doing it in Linda's term, we would be happy to get you in that slot for the coming year. Well, 2021 is here. I know some of you are excited that 2020 is behind us. Yes. But I will just tell you that I have a little saying that I've told my kids through the years. My son will attest to this. I've told them that if you're unable to learn from failure and you're unwilling to learn from success, then you find that success is difficult to repeat and failure is hard to avoid. And so I make it a point to learn, no matter whether it's something good or something bad happened. And there's some good stuff that happened in 2020. Now, there's some bad stuff that happened, and I'm not making light of that, but I want to take that good stuff that we've learned in 2020 that's going to better equip us as a club and as individuals for 2021. So if you have some things you've learned, if you'll share them with us, if we can put those in our club, we can. I will also just tell you in brief that there's some changes with the country club coming. I'm not going to talk about those today, but I'll talk about those next week. But again, thank you for being part of the Irving Las Colinas Rotary Club. Ryan, thank you for being here today. We hope this was not, I'm not the regular speaker, so you probably won't hear from me again, but we do have some good programs lined up. Next week, Joe Lopez is going to be here with the future leaders of Irving. We have somebody help me with the gentleman who talked about the classic cars here a few months ago is coming back on the 21st to talk about a therapeutic horse riding program they have. And then I believe the 28th is Bill Baxter talking about our flag program. We are 5 months away from the Flags Over Irving program getting started. We are going to be having a work day every month between now and then to repair flags, to build flags, to replace sleeves, to cap sleeves, to put corks at the end of the poles. And more than ever, we need everybody in Rotary in some capacity involved with the flag program. So you might think, well, what can I do? There's something that everybody can do with Rotary with our flag program. So 5 months, right? And the subscriptions have already gone out and will start coming back in. So hopefully, we'll have an increase of flags this year over last year. Well, if you'll stand with me, and Mike Kunstad is going to lead us in the 4-way test, and then we will be adjourned. Mike? The truth, there is all concern. Good and better friendships. It's beneficial to all concerned. And while I was talking, they brought us our regular bell, so you can hear that when we